Hey everybody, I'm Robert and I'd like to welcome you back down here to the barn. It is an interesting day because I am essentially responding or reacting or maybe even giving you guys my thoughts on, just as the title says, what is next? What's next for the SSC Tuatara? What's next for us? What are our next steps? There's a lot of messages that we're getting, some messages saying, oh cool, you know, they clarified what they're going to do. They're going to rerun. There's messages saying, does this make you happy? Are you happy with the result? There's people coming in and saying, don't stop there, finish it, you know, keep pushing and show that there were errors that somebody should have known about. And I'm going to touch on all of that actually right now and give you my opinion as to what I think. But first of all, let's talk about the statement from Jerod Shelby. He says that after we made our videos questioning the runs, that they started doing their investigations and they too ended up with more questions than they have answers. They too stated that they cannot tell us how fast the car went based on the video data, and the data that they have doesn't support one device to the other. So they're in a situation where they don't really know what to do other than to rerun the car. And I think that that's really all that they can do at the moment. They are in a very tricky position that they can't verify the data. The amount of time and energy that it might take for them to verify data and figure out what's going on would take away from the business aspect because they are a small team. So they've decided, let's rerun the car, let's make it a little bit more transparent, let's get more companies on board, multiple GPS certifications. Let's maybe see if we can get someone from Guinness there, or at least a representative that's stating beforehand how the process is going to work so that it's open. Am I happy about this? Not really. To be honest with you guys, there's some things that have happened over the last couple weeks that have or the last week that have transpired, where we did a lot of calculations and a lot of data collection, and we really put a lot into it and did, to the best of our knowledge, verify that this video shows nothing more than a car that is very fast, doing a very fast speed that is not 331 miles an hour or not 316 miles an hour. I've been beat up a little bit from a couple of you guys about my math calculations and how can this be, you know, and so on and so forth. So we've even taken it further. We even went as far as to doing a frequency spectrogram, where we put the frequencies from the video into a program that shows us how each frequency line moves with, or how each, I would say, noise, when you're driving a car, you hear road noise, you hear wind noise, you hear the engine noise. In some cars you might hear the differential whine, you hear all of these different things, and we put the audio files from the videos into this spectrogram, and it actually comes back and shows us. I'll put up a little video here for you guys to see, or a screenshot for you to see how this chart looks, and it follows the RPM curve exactly. What it does do is it follows the RPM curve so precisely that you can measure the frequency drop between each gear shift, and it matches down to this thousandths. That's 3 decimal points. The ratio matches our gear ratios that we predicted and we calculated everything with. So those of you that are seeing this come out and saying, how did you guys calculate these gear ratios? How are you sure that they are? There's too many things that match up. There's too many things that go together. So one of the things that doesn't make me happy is that we don't really know right now some of the answers to some of the questions that we had, and we're not going to get SSC to verify those. And that is kind of disappointing, but I can't change that. But what I can do is I can tell you guys that the data that we have collected, whether it be distance over time, whether it be a spectrogram of the RPM range, whether it be just a knowledge of gearboxes and things like that, we will verify this all against the new run. So we can take the audio files from the new run and put them in the same software, and we can match the frequency changes, and we will know if the new car, I don't want to say the new car, if the new speed record runs the same transmission gear ratios as the old run. We'll be able to determine that very quickly. It'll probably take us about 10 minutes now that we know exactly how to work the program and decode the information. We're going to be able to pull that up in about 10 minutes, and that's something we're going to do for you guys. So that's part of the what's next. Yes, I do want to go to wherever this new run may be. I hope it's on a runway, because I think the driver is going to feel much more comfortable with the car if he's actually out on a runway. So I will go there. One thing that I'm very lucky about is that I am an American citizen and I have my European residency. That means I can actually travel between the US and Europe freely. There's not going to be issues with me needing to get visas and approvals during quarantine times or COVID times. So I will be able to be there. We need to see how Misha and Tim can handle it. I cannot speak for them, but I am certain that they will also want to join in on that. So Jerod, thank you very much for the invite. There's one big thing that I want to touch on. There's many of you guys that have commented and told us not to stop here. Go for the kill, finish it. That needs to stop. We are not here to tear down a company or to call somebody out as making, let's just say bluntly, call them a liar or say that somebody cheated or somebody tried to deceive us. That's not our position. We started this by saying the video does not support the speeds that the GPS shows. Therefore, we do not think that this car ran as fast as it said it did. That's all we're after. We're not the FTC. We're not a jury. We're not judges. This isn't our job to go and continue a witch hunt. That's not what we started for. And that's not how we're going to finish this. Of course, like I said earlier, the big thing that bothers me is the gear ratios. The gear ratios to me are a big red flag. I told you my piece. I know how I can handle that. I'm going to handle that in the future by monitoring the gear ratios on the new car by using the sound analysis just like we did on this car. And I'm going to be able to know for my well-being if the gears change between the last run and the new run, or if the car is going to go as fast as it did in the last run, we're going to see the car go into 7th gear. Those are going to be two ways that we're going to know if the gear ratio has changed. And you know what? If SSC decides that they need to change their gear ratios to get the car to go as fast as they think that it can go, then by all means, I won't care. That's perfectly fine. It just will verify to us that changes had to be made to get the car to run as quick as it did. One more thing you guys have been really asking me, do I think the car is capable of going as fast as the last video? Again, that's going to be irrelevant because they are going to run the car again and we will actually see what it can do in a verifiable manner. But I believe that the car can be very fast. When you see the car going up through the RPM range and getting to that 331 number, it was just plugging away. It was 326, 7, 8, 9, and up to 30, 31. It was going very quick. If the driver would have kept his foot in it, I'm afraid that we would have seen a GPS speed that would have been 360 plus miles an hour, which we all know is not possible. It wouldn't have been. But I think we would have seen that, and I think we would have seen a lot of that in 6th gear as well. So it's really interesting is that I believe the GPS was very far off in calibration. I think that that's probably one of their biggest issues, was that the GPS was way off, and the driver probably felt, well, I've met my mark, I don't need to drive anymore, but in all reality, something was majorly askew with the GPS, and that left them thinking they did something that they possibly did not do. It goes back to the whole thing. I think I said it earlier, but am I happy? No, I'm not. I don't think that this whole scenario is anything that anybody should be happy about. I think that we need to correct what the media does. I think we need to correct how large companies, we'll call them motor magazines in the trending market. I think we need to look at how they handle news and how they handle media and how they maybe look at things from a perspective that's aside from, hey, you know what? This is a great article. I don't care about the data. I don't care about any of it. You guys are just, I think the joke was dumb. It's a dumb controversy. And I think that this is going to change how manufacturers look at some things. They're going to look at it and say, you know what? We need to be more careful about what we do. But I really hope that it means that some of these news entities also change how they do things, how they represent themselves and how they represent the product or the news story that they're bringing to the table. Because I think that was probably one of the big irritating things in this whole thing, was the company that we were actually talking about was 10 times more respectful and 10 times more transparent than the media companies that were discussing it and debating back and forth about the errors that we might have made and things like that. So that's something really interesting to think about, is the company that actually would probably see the most financial downturn based on these results was more cordial, more respectable, and more professional than the media companies that were covering it. And that's pretty embarrassing for those companies. I think that they should look to SSC and see how they handled it and maybe consider operating themselves more in a manner like that. But that's really what I have to say right now. You guys know the story, you know what's going on. Go check out all of our other videos. I'll put a link to Jerod's video down below. What does it mean going forward? We're gonna go check out the high speed run wherever it ends up being. We will be there. We'll be very positive. We're excited to see it. I hope that the car goes over 300 miles an hour. I think that's going to be really cool. I think it's a beautiful car. I think it's a badass car. and I'm looking forward to any of your guys' questions and comments, maybe things that I missed. More so, I'm looking forward to analyzing the data from the new run so I can show you guys how they compare. I'm excited to go through my math numbers maybe with you guys a little bit more. A few of you kicked me on those and said, oh, this is off. And yes, I have found some errors in it, but they're not errors to the tune of the difference in speed that we see in the run. Maybe I can add another 10 miles an hour, maybe 13 miles an hour to my estimates, but I can't add 60 or 70 to them. So I do stick by the general idea of where we're at. But yeah, thank you guys for all the support. For all the new followers that have come to the channel, welcome. Let me know what you guys would like to see below, because the one thing I want to do now is I want to get back to our normal program. I want to get back to the normal stuff we have. We need to get me brand deals, shoe deals. What else do I need, Misha?
Good question.
A Tuatara?
Yeah, high downforce speed, because you cannot be seen with this anymore. Come on.
Yes, a hairdresser's car, right?
Yeah.
All right. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it clarifies some things. Misha?
Oh, I'm here. Yeah.
Misha's here. He just walked by, so I thought that I would invite him in.
For instruction lab. Thanks for watching. Bye. You're blocking with your car the whole barn. Come on.
But yeah, guys, really, as I've mentioned before, this channel is made for you guys. It's the content that you guys want. So please do comment below what you would like to see as we get back to our normally scheduled program. Lots of things that we can talk about, from cars, reliability, driving techniques, and things like that. Excited to get back to it, and I'm going to do my best to keep some sort of a regular schedule for you guys. But you're awesome. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.